Howdy folks, you are on the Seek on the Speed 252 show. Scroll over to the right and click that subscribe button.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of Seek on the Speed 252. Yes, and I want to thank each and every one of you for pushing that play button. My name is Clarence. If this is your first time stopping by, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. My goal is to reach 20,000 followers by the end of this year. My channel is steadily growing and greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being part of the community, part of this awesome channel, watching the uploads, watching the ads, supporting me, leaving your comments down below, and giving this video a thumbs up. Go down and give everybody a comment a thumbs up. This world has a lot of craziness going on right now. Just go down in the description below, down in the comment section, just give everybody a thumbs up. Just do it for random. I don't know, just do it. It's one of those things where I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Once again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. So today's video, I'm hoping that I can provide some information that will hopefully help you with your future buying of your car, whether it's a Corvette, whether it's a truck, whether it's a Nissan, whether it's a Toyota, whether it's a BMW, whatever the case may be. I'm hoping that this information will help you get money off your car. And so what do you mean, Clarence, by getting money off my car? I'm hoping that the information I provided you today will help you get money off your MSRP of your car, because cars are getting more expensive these days. They aren't getting cheaper, and people are like, why are they getting more expensive? Because of the technology. Technology is just one of those things where it's evolving fast every single day. When we go to sleep, we wake up, there's something else that's just being created just like that. At a snap of a finger, somebody just created something that will change our lives in the next 5 to 10 years. And I want to be able to approach you guys with some information that will hopefully help you guys save some money in the long run regarding buying a future 2020, I wouldn't even say 2020. Let's go ahead and say 2021 and 2022 Corvette, or whatever case may be when it comes down to buying your next purchase, your next car. And so think about it this way. As this car tends to be a little bit longer, it will, decrease in value, obviously, because I'm putting miles on it. And as they start to make newer cars will tend to be a little bit cheaper. I'm gonna give you a prime example of a newer car that got cheaper, right? So when the 2014 C7 Stingray came out, that car was very expensive. A lot of people was trying to guess the price of how much that car was going to cost, but it was a new body style, and even though it was still front engine, the C7 body style was phenomenal. I mean, it blew a lot of people's minds. It blew a lot of people, it just took your breath away. And that car wasn't cheap. It wasn't cheap at all. And as cars evolve, they get more expensive. The MSRP gets even more expensive, and it also depends on how you spec your car out. Now with these 2020 Corvettes, obviously you can build it to your liking, but MSRP can be pretty up there. So think about it this way. My prime example of how cars can get more expensive over time, but also better over time. When the Z06 came out in 2015, two of my followers on my channel bought a Z06, spec'd it out. One was a hard top, one was convertible. They got carbon fiber pieces. They paid around $110,000 average for both of those cars. They paid 6 figures for those cars. Now, one of my friends have his car already paid off. The other one does not. It's one of those things where, when I grew up as a kid, I was thinking, if I'm going to pay 6 figures for a car, at that point, I'm going for a Lamborghini, because the Lamborghini costs 6 figures, but high 6 figures. When you think about Corvettes, right? The Z06 came out in 2015 for the C7s. Guys was paying almost $110,000 for them. As time goes on, that car got better, but it decreased in price-wise. Give you a prime example. In 2017, I bought my Grand Sport for $60K brand new. The MSRP was $76,000. So obviously I'm good at negotiating, off MSRP. And if you have any questions regarding that, you feel free to email me and I can help you out. I know I helped some of you guys, buy your Corvettes by sending me links and which car you thought was better, which car you thought had better discounts and whatnot. When I was considering buying a Corvette in 2017, I bought my Grand Sport for $60K. And at that time, probably about 2 months in of owning my 2017 Grand Sport, I was considering buying a Z06. I felt like the Grand Sport was underpowered. I wasn't appreciative of what I had at the time because I haven't fully broken my car in. And once I did break it in, I still wanted the Z06. I feel like I wanted 650 horsepower. I was going to YouTube call outs. I was going to the drag strip. I was going to the track. And I didn't know much about that car until I started driving more often, fall in love with it a little bit more. and decided to keep it. And when I built my Z06, I contacted the dealership, which was Corvette, and I said, hey, you guys, I really kind of want to have a Z06. I probably should have went with that. So let's go ahead and build a Z06. So I built a Z06 online. A lot of you know, it came out to be $84,100, which is pretty much what this car behind me costs. So I almost bought a 2017 Z06 brand new. It was orange with black wheels. Same price as a brand new C8 Stingray that I paid for today. And that price came to be $84,000, which is still cheaper than what my friends had paid for in 2015 when the Z06s came out. So the Z06 gotten better over time, but they got cheaper over time, where those guys paid a lot of money up front. They didn't get anything off the MSRP, they didn't negotiate anything. And then when 2019 came around, you can negotiate anything at that point regarding a C7 Corvette Stingray, Grand Sport, Z06, whatever the case may be. But one car that you could not negotiate MSRP for was a ZR1. That's out of the territory because that car came out in 2019. So when you think about it, when most cars come out that same model year, it will be hard for you to negotiate pricing when it comes down to that car, unless that car just isn't selling well, the economy isn't great, or the market just isn't feeling that car. So you may be able to get a couple of dollars off, because at that point they're trying to push out a car. The perfect time to really buy a car, if you think about it, is right now. Just because of the pandemic, the COVID-19, all that stuff, a lot of dealerships are trying to push these cars to their lot, because a lot of people are holding on to their money because they're afraid that they don't know what's going to happen, months down the road from now. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people, lost opportunities. A lot of people put down deposit for the Corvettes and, lost it because they couldn't, get it because of job loss. And, that can happen to anyone. Whether you own your business, whether you don't own your business, whether you work for someone else, or whatever the case may be. But the best thing to do if you want to eventually get into a dream car of yours is always negotiate the price. Do not get too excited or overhyped about a car before negotiating the price. And I say that because it's not that hard to go in and negotiate a price and then for them to tell you no. At least you try, right? There's been plenty of times where I have, helped friends out who were looking for a car, and they called a dealership, and the dealership was like, hey, man, nope, we're not giving you a dime off. This car's a hot commodity. We're not going to do it for you. Depends on the kind of words you use, right? I called that same dealership requesting that same exact car. My friend couldn't get a dime off that car. I got that dealership to come down $3,000. Now, in retrospect, $3,000 is a lot of money compared to who you're talking to. To me, $3,000 is a lot of money. To my friend, it was a lot of money. To somebody who's rich, $3,000 probably is chunk change, and he would probably just bought the car anyways. But for me, I helped my friend negotiate a car and got $3,000 off. And all it did was take a few phone calls, a few text messages, and a few haggling, I guess is what you want to call it. So in this video, like I said, I want to teach you guys how to be able to negotiate prices off a future Corvette of yours. So every dealership in the world has a price, right? They have a thing where some guys ordered 2020 Corvettes, 2021s, and they couldn't get those cars just yet, obviously because there's not so many of them out there. I have seen dealerships in my area literally sell Corvettes at MSRP because somebody, just couldn't either buy it at the time or something fell through, or the case may be. But you can kind of negotiate pricing on some of these new cars if you really think about it, because of COVID, right? It's really hard for a lot of guys to go out and buy a car right now. A lot of women go out and buy a car right now because of what's going on in the world. One thing you want to do is, anytime you're interested in buying a vehicle, you want to go to that company's website. You want to see if you can find any discounts, any pricing whatsoever. Like, for instance, I was interested in buying a GMC Denali at one point, and I went to GMC website and wanted to see what kind of discounts they were giving. At that time, they was giving $3,000 off that truck, and I was like, okay, this is not bad. It's $3,000 off. I don't have to really pay, so cool. I was like, let me wait a little bit, because this is kind of, COVID-19. This is the pandemic. Let me see exactly what may change. And the next month they offered $3,500. I was like, okay, $500. This is a little bit extra that I don't have to pay out of my pocket, but let me wait a little bit while longer. And I waited and waited and waited to the point to where now the incentives on that truck is $4,200. Big difference between $3,000 and $4,200. That's $1,200 I was saving on a truck, but I actually did not decide to buy that truck because it is a pandemic. I don't want to be stuck with another car payment, and I already have a car payment that I'm actually paying for right now. So, but with that truck, I was still able to negotiate getting that money off the MSRP that GM was giving to me, on top of the money that I negotiated a dealership with this truck. And I went to the dealership and said, hey, you guys, I'm interested in buying this truck, and you gotta let the dealership know that you're serious. If you go there like you're not serious and they're not gonna take you serious, then you're not gonna get anything off. Go there with seriously. Say, hey, I've been looking at trucks for about 2 or 3 months now. Hey, I've been looking at Corvettes about 2 or 3 months now. I know that you guys had this car on your lot. It's been sitting here for X amount of days, because you guys know, if as long as a car sits on the dealership lot for like 30 to 60 days, they're gonna need to move that inventory at some point. They're gonna have to move it. They're gonna need to move it. So if you go there with a serious mindset, with serious negotiating powers, you can get that car to steal. And so when I was talking to the dealership about the truck, I said, hey, you guys, I'm interested in getting this 2020 Denali. I really need it to tow my cars around the world, because I want to come see my followers and, you know, have the opportunity to visit them and have a truck that will pull 2 cars. And the guy was like, okay, right now we got $4,200 off, and that's the best we can do. I'm thinking like, nah, you can do better than that, because you guys gonna roll in some other stuff in the back end that you think I'm not gonna see in the bill of sale. So I said, I tell you what, how about this? Send me the bill of sale of this truck, this VIN number right here. He sent me the bill of sale, and I looked at it. And I got friends in the dealership world, so all I did was send that bill of sale to a couple of my buddies and like, hey, what do you think about this? And the guy was like, nah, you can get more off of that. You can get more off. And I was like, okay, cool. So I called the dealership back and was like, hey man, I kind of want, you know, extra $2,000 off. He said, we can't do it. We can't do it. We make it do 500, but we can't do $2,000. I said, oh, okay, don't worry about it. Well, I'm gonna go over to this dealership and see what they can do. He said, okay, not a problem. So what I did was I contacted another dealership, did the same exact thing, got a bill of sale, got it cheaper. I actually got it cheaper at the other dealership, but it was one thing about that dealership that I wanted to buy my truck from that dealership, because it was closer. The problem was, the further I was out, the cheaper the truck was. The other dealership was closer, so I was trying to get them to kind of, you know, get closer in prices. The other dealership was like, hey, I'm a serious buyer. You clearly see that I have another bill of sale that I'm interested in buying this truck. So what you want to do is you want to be serious about negotiating for the vehicle you want. You want to just find a vehicle that you want. Don't go to the dealership and say, I want this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, unless you're rich. And then you say, give me the best price you can on all 5 of these. No, find one vehicle that you really like, go to the salesman and say, hey, this is what I want. What's the best deal you can give for me? And just leave it at that. He would go to the back, go talk to his finance manager, work up some prices, and come back to you with some ideas. And then you can look at it and say, all right, cool, let me think about it, right? Because at the end of the day, you got a price in mind, right? Everybody has a price in mind that they're willing to buy something for. I know I do. So when he brought me the bill of sale, I decided to take it home, compare the 2 bill of sales, figure out what I wanted to do, and the dealership contacted me the next day. It's like, hey man, want to know if you thought more about the truck? And I was like, absolutely, I've been thinking about it all night. I actually had a couple of dreams about it. He's like, you know, what are your thoughts? And I was like, well, this other dealership is giving me this price over here. What can you do? He immediately said, let me go talk to my manager about it. I'll be right back. So in the whole while, I'm thinking like, well, now you got to go talk to your manager once I come back to you with another price. But you couldn't give me this price before. You can absolutely do it. You're just trying to haggle with me, and I can understand that. But at the end of the day, you guys are trying to make money. I'm trying to save money. That's what it boils down to. So the same things applies when you come down to buying a Corvette. At the end of the day, I decided not to get that truck because of COVID and everything that was happening. And granted, it was like, yeah, we can give you the first 3 months, no payment, blah, 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 blah. I wasn't interested in that because, once again, COVID still hit, and I was trying to avoid all that. But you guys know that if you are in the market for a Corvette, a future Corvette, a C8 Corvette or a C7 Corvette, you can negotiate the price. Now, I wasn't able to negotiate mine because I got an early bill. But if your guys are waiting until 2021, 2022, you will be able to negotiate a price that will work in your favor, because this car will have been out long enough for you to be able to negotiate pricing off this car. Now, that's exactly what I did with my C7, which is why I got it for $60K. I went from having a $76,000 MSRP to getting my car $60,000 out of the door, and compared to another dealership who was selling that same car for $85,000, I was able to get for $60,000 out of the door. That's because I waited patiently, I negotiated, I took the process seriously, and I went to the dealership seriously. If you go to a dealership trying to like lowball them, then they're not gonna take you seriously. Don't go to a dealership and you see the Corvette price at 80 grand, and then you say, hey, I want 30 grand off. That's not gonna work. They're not gonna take you seriously. And two, you're not taking yourself seriously. If you're going to the dealership trying to get 30 grand off a car, it's not going to happen. You usually want to get anywhere between 10 to 15% off MSRP. That's pretty good in my personal opinion, and it's possible. But it also depends on what dealership you're dealing with, how long that car been there, if it's a color car that some people just don't like. And think about it, these days, color doesn't matter. You can wrap the car at the end of the day and change the complete look of the entire car. So get the car and then wrap it. What you want to do is you want to take it seriously, negotiate a price, figure out a price you want in your head that you're willing to pay, and go for it. Because at that point, they will take you seriously and you will be able to negotiate pricing off the car. Now, I know a lot of you guys, we all love a great deal. We love a great deal. I got a phenomenal deal on my C7 Corvette. And I will admit, and we all can say this, there aren't too many people in the world who say they didn't get a great deal on that car. Let's just face it. Let's be realistic with you. A lot of people will say they got a great deal even if they got ripped off, but they want to feel like they got a great deal. Regarding this car, I got a great deal because I got an early car. I paid the MSRP that I was willing to pay for, and I put the price range which I wanted to be at. So to me, I got a great deal because I wanted this car. Outside of that, I didn't really need any negotiating power, even though you could, I guess, sign up for a GM credit card, and that GM credit card will allow you to maybe get $1,000 off this car. To me, I don't have a GM credit card. I have a couple of credit cards in my name done through my banks. I didn't feel like going through General Motors to get my own personal credit card to them just to save $1,000, because I don't really buy that stuff from General Motors. I don't buy like accessories from General Motors. That's just not what I do. So I'm sure you can use that credit card elsewhere, but I don't need that many credit cards. So that's another way you could save money. But for me, I wasn't interested in going and signing up for General Motors program in order to get a credit card and save $1,000 off this car. I'd rather just work super hard, work some overtime, raise $1,000 and put it towards the car's down payment, which is pretty much what I did in the first place. So, you know, like I said before, the best way to save money on a car is to take your time, shop around, take the sales seriously. Don't go in trying to haggle them with a lowball price, because then they're not going to take you seriously. Take it seriously. Go to a sales guy and say, hey, what's the best price you're willing to give me on this car? He will come back to you with some numbers. You already need to have a number in your head when you walk in the dealership, so that way you know what you're playing with. You know what kind of cars they're playing, you know what kind of cars you're playing, and you need to have your best foot forward. And so you go home. Don't try to make a deal that day, because it's not going to happen that day. Go home. Think about it. Make sure you got the salesman's contact information. Make sure he has your information. If he doesn't contact you back the next day, give it another day. Give it some time. Wait patiently, because, you know, time is money, right? So wait patiently. They're going to want to move that car, whether they sell it to you or somebody else. They're going to want to move that car. But if they sell it to someone else, remember, there's always a car available in the world somewhere else. You may have to go out of the way to get it, but once you go out of the way and get it, you will save some money. Pretty much every car I own right now, I have bought somewhere out of state. Have never bought it within state. Why? Because it's been cheaper for me to buy cars out of my state than it is within state. And so, you guys, if you want to get a good car for a good price, wait patiently. Wait patiently. Wait patiently. Because right now, you guys are having to wait patiently because the C8 Corvettes aren't being built as fast as we thought they were going to be. And when 2021 comes and 2022 comes, and I will admit I'm hoping to be able to afford a Z06, this car may be available for sale at that point. I don't think I'm going to keep the C7 Corvette, the C8 Stingray, and the C8 Z06 beside each other. I don't think I would be able to afford it at that point unless my C7 is paid off, and it doesn't make sense for me to keep the C8 Stingray and the C8 Z06 beside each other. It's probably going to be the same car. And don't get me wrong, take a step back. This bad boy is drop dead gorgeous. Now, I would love to keep this car for the rest of my life, but it doesn't make sense to own two C8s by itself. So at some point, this car may become available in 2 years from now. Who knows? If I can't afford a Z06, I do plan to keep this car. I will admit that. But at the end of the day, guys, you know, do your homework, do your research. You can always get money off MSRP if you take your time and negotiate and wait patiently, because once again, time is money. And I hope some of this information I provided to you in this video was helpful, and hopefully it will help you get your future car, your future Corvette, and whatever the case may be. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do. Once again, I would love to have you part of this community, and thank you for pushing that play button. And I will see you in another episode of Seek on the Speed 252. I need to get home because it is kind of dark outside right now, and the dealership is really quiet, and I like it quiet because I'm able to do what I need to do without having people come up to me and approach me while I'm making my video. I'm going to crank this bad boy up, and we're going to go on our way. And I hope you guys are having a great day and a good dinner, and I'm going to get some